Hey, what's up, guys? Welcome back. Your boy Alfonso Solis. This is CaliProject Photography. You're listening to the podcast that we host here from CaliProject Photography on the YouTube channel. And we want to say thank you for joining us, just for being here. Another episode is just a good blessing to have. Today, we're going to be talking about affordable cameras, lenses, and some gear. And it's something that a lot of videos on YouTube talk about. And one day we hope that we can also do the same thing. Right now, what we want to do is just give you a basic overview of the cameras and maybe some accessories, specifically a lens, things that we recommend. We do have a video of the CaliProject review on the Canon 5D Mark One, the classic, and it's a really good review. I really like the fact that we're able to share what we know about this product to our community, because it makes me happy to see you guys supporting the video, supporting the camera, and understanding the potential of it. And one thing that I'll be talking about that I also talked in the video was that it's a good beginning camera. If you're starting out, a camera that you can use for, your clients or your photo shoots, your lifestyle photo sessions for Instagram or social media. So let's get started, guys. Before we get started, I just want to talk to you guys about our social media, our pages, CaliProject Photography. You can check us out on Instagram, CaliProject, and also on Facebook, CaliProject Photography. We're up there, and YouTube. So just subscribe and like just so the algorithm can find us easier and share it to more people. I think that what we're trying to do here is just give the information out, put opinions out, our thoughts on things, and all you guys can just do your research and gather all the information that's on the table and make your own decisions and understand what you're doing. But I also want to be able to motivate you and inspire you. I would like the fact that people are accepting a lot of the advice that I'm giving, and some advice I understand that it's an opinion, right? I think is the best thing. Everything's an opinion, but excuse me. One thing that I focus is when a lot of people are saying the same thing, it's not necessarily what you choose. It's what the overall public think. That's when you start thinking about business versus art. There's some people say, hey, I like doing this. No one's going to tell me. I do it because I like it. That's beautiful. But when you're working in a business like the industry of filmmaking or photography, doing cinematography and doing sessions and all this and that, then you understand that you're working for someone else. You're working for a product that someone else made. And sometimes, yes, you have your passion projects once a year, like I talked in the video before. But the thing of this is we need to grow. We have the ability and the skills to shoot our photo sessions, because maybe some of us already shot a few sessions for corporate or even headshots for clients, personal brands. But what we need to do is have the specific gear that will allow us to compete at an affordable price. Now, you don't have to be affordable your whole life, and there's definitely other options. But I recommend, as we're growing and understanding your artistic side versus your money side, I've seen in many cases that the gear, when chosen specifically and thoughtfully, you can create stunning images and videos. And I think that understanding the skill of something as simple as RAW versus JPEG, right? And what the capabilities are of RAW. That's something that you need to be able to learn. We talked about learn and share and this and that. What I need you guys to do is understand that investing in a camera that will take the result. We talked about creating the result for our clients. If our client is paying $1,000 for a session, this guy's a premium for a couple hours of a photo session. That's $1,000. That's how much you usually make for like a wedding for a single photographer, right? So how can you grow that rate. You're still a photographer. You have the same skills. What do? Are you sharpening the skills, right? Are you sharpening those blades? And so what we need to do is also sharpen the technology. Understand how to use flash, right? Affordable cameras, lenses. A good camera that I did talk about in the video was the Canon, the 50 millimeter. And why, personally, why I would start out with that. One, if you have a manual lens, is not this one. I think it's auto. You can choose manual, but starting out with a manual lens, specifically if it's a 50 millimeter, will allow you to appreciate the cinematography and the hands-on. So understanding that you need to understand focus, rack focus, follow focus, shallow depth of field, and then you start thinking about, okay, how can I incorporate lighting and then this composition? So it forces you to not use zoom versus having a manual lens, right? Now, why do I like 50? There's other manual lenses. Why do I like 50? I like 50 because it's a portrait lens. It has enough room for medium shot depth of field, beautiful bokeh. This 50 millimeter, 1.4 I believe f-stop. I think it's something that you can add to your toolkit, and it will bring instantaneous sharpness, clarity, and beauty. I recommend you get wider lenses for wider shots, like a 60 millimeter. I hope you have enough money for 1.4, but in this case, you may have to save up. But that's why I start with the 50 from Canon. I'll put some links down below also, just so we can see exactly what I'm talking about. There's always the possibilities of having a kit lens if you already have let's say you have a Rebel, because that's another camera. We'll go back to lenses, but let's start talking about cameras and how these cameras can go with these lenses. So we did talk about the 50 millimeter camera, or the lens, the 50 millimeter from Canon, and and I think that when you go, there's two options, right? So one, the main camera that I recommend when starting out, and if you haven't seen the video, this is the camera, the Canon. Excuse me, the Canon 5D Mark One. So the Canon 5D Mark One is a classic. It's the original full frame camera, professional camera that Canon created. The professional line. So it's got good quality, good images, but it needs a good lens. And it's a full frame. So you're gonna need an EF lens, either if you get a 50 millimeter. However, some of us are on micro four thirds, and if you're, like, for instance, on Rebel or any other micro four thirds lens that you need, like an LP or whatever lens that you may have, I think that we need to focus on also the camera. I like megapixels. I like understanding the depth of field, and the one thing that I started adding was the ND filter, right? So you're a cinematographer and you haven't done an ND filter. That's the thing that you need to start focusing on, because now you're going to be having really good lenses. For instance, the 1.4, like I just said, the 50, it's bright, it's the middle of the day, you have it wide open, and all you got to do is put an ND filter. So let's focus on those. How can we make quality images with what we have? If you already have a Rebel, you can check my Instagram at CaliProject. It's a CaliProject photography on Facebook. I think I have the same images, but there's a few images, and you tell me if you can spot the Rebel T3i. No, not T3i. Yeah, it was a T3i. Wow, that was a long time ago. But check out the images, and then some of them are even better than the ones I shoot with the 5D. Right? Another camera that you can use that I also like shooting with is the 7D. And I'll tell you why I like shooting with the 7D. This is my focus. So it's a micro four thirds lens, or sensor, sorry, but I do have like an 18 millimeter to what was it? It's a zoom lens. It's a kit lens, but it's what I like about this camera is that it shoots photo and video. It shoots at 1080. It's not the best camera. And during the day, it's good. In low light, it's not the best. Really not the best. So we have to focus. How can we grow without breaking the bank? There it is. The Canon 50 millimeter 1.4 from Canon. I think there's knockoffs too, but I mean, it doesn't even have to be from Canon. As long I think the purpose of having a 50 from Canon is just like warranty or having something official from the brand. That's good. But any 50 millimeter 1.4, the less the better because you're gonna have an ND filter, right? So we gotta use those. Use what we have. And once you have those, and if you do want to expand, and it's going to take a long time because the skills that you need is natural lighting skill and flash or strobe photography skill. Those are the skills that you need to learn. And once you learn both, you can understand which one you like, which one are your natural shooter, and even natural shooters have to understand the camera settings. So that's one thing that we will focus on, like camera settings, ISO, shutter speed, depth of field, like how to change the f-stop so this looks like this and that. We need to understand that, specifically when we're shooting with bigger tier clients, right? So we need to know exactly what button we're pushing, what is it doing. And once you understand the camera, you'll understand that there's settings, there's buttons that you can customize and have presets for specific things. I have a studio here in Vista, California, which is also an office. We have the office is here in North County, San Diego, which has a studio. That's exactly what I do here. So having affordable gear allows you to understand the skills versus the technology. Once you understand that, you'll understand that the next step of buying the next lens, like from this point, from the 50 or from the, let's say you have a Rebel 7 T7i, whatever they have, the newest one, it's good. They're probably like $700. Already wasted half, like you could have with the Canon 5D Mark 1, the classic. Check it out. It's just like, it's probably a full frame better if you understand it and you know how to use it. I made thousands of dollars with that camera, and it cost me $300. Go check it out. Now, is it valued less? Price, yeah, because the company doesn't fix them up anymore. They don't have the parts for them anymore. They're not manufacturing them. So versus like the Rebel T7i or whatever the line is, they're still on it. It's valued more, has more. So Canon 5D. Having the Canon 5D Mark 1 is going to allow you to start cheap with full frame, beautiful, beautiful images, and then combining that with the 50 millimeter. The 50 millimeter. Now, you can use any kind of brand. It doesn't have to be from Canon. I've used one of my favorite lenses, and it's the other one, 35 millimeter. The Meek, however you say it, the Meek 35 millimeter 1.4. Same thing. Beautiful images, a little bit more wider. It's also portrait lens. It may be something you want, but it's definitely not something I would start out with. I would start with the 50. It forces you to be far. I think if I'm going to jump, I would rather jump to the 16 millimeter 1.4. Just so I can have that super wide. And if I need anything closer, I can just move forward. However, the 50 millimeter definitely gets the job. Bokeh, depth of field, sharpness. It's really a beautiful lens, good lens, beautiful images. So, I don't know. There's a lot of options. And we can do another podcast about other lenses, other cameras. There's other ones. I talked about the 7D. Top 3 that I just talked about are the Canon 5D Mark 1, the classic, and the Canon 7D. There's also the Canon Rebel. Everything's Canon. I mean, Nikon, I'll probably put some Nikon cameras down below. probably gonna have a lot of affiliate marketing. Oh, just click the links. Just click the links. Yes. However, if you don't have the budget, you can check out the other podcasts. I do talk about how you can shoot with your phone and create beautiful images to start out. Some of you don't have the money for these lenses. Now, my focus is start with a good lens. Even on the Rebel, you as long as you buy a 50 millimeter, you'll see the difference. And once you know how to use it, you'll see the potential. However, after that buy, I would definitely consider buying the Canon 5D Mark 1. And I'm done promoting it. I'm done. I think you overheard me saying it 20,000 times in this podcast. But it's because it's true, and I back it up. And it's something that I love shooting with. It's made me money. My clients love the images. I love the images. I impress myself all the time. And if you're one of those, people that impress yourselves, it's like sometimes you have those doubts. Is it the camera? Or is it me? It's definitely the skill that you put into this work. The camera has no legs. It has no brain. It has no concept of giving that experience to a client. And at the end of the day, that's exactly what it is. You giving a good experience to your client, being able to present and deliver on what you said you could do. It's not about a degree. It's about, can you deliver? And I think a lot of people want to see that. They want to understand, are you able to deliver something with quality, with affordability? And affordability doesn't have to be affordable, right? That's just something to start out with. And it's just a keyword to be like, hey, let me see what he has to say. But you can grow. Like I was talking about the Ronda Rousey photographer. You can grow to be just a camera and a lens, natural photographer, black and white, shooting with let's say a film camera. You have to understand who you are, what your purpose is, what the passion, your passion has to come from something and give to someone. And then look at the projects you're shooting. Who are you supplying all this passion to? Are they aligning with your purpose and your passion in life? So you have to also think about stuff like that. And it's something that I consider my focus, seeing the work that I'm doing and how I'm going to give back to the community. So with that said, this is a short podcast, but I just want to say thank you to everybody that joined us up to the end, that was part and wanted to listen more. We're going to be having longer ones, longer and longer. If you have any questions, comments, opinions, or thoughts, you can leave them down below. I would very much appreciate you guys just commenting, saying hi, or DMing me. You can check me out on official Alfonso Solis, or I'll have the links down below for CaliProject and all the links. Please make sure you follow us on Instagram, on Facebook. We're going to be starting out having more videos posted on YouTube and giving back to the community. Thank you so much.